Welcome to the Heritage Cure. In today's explainer, we're unlocking the healing power of the starfruit. We live in a world where we rush to the pharmacy for literally every little sniffle or itch, completely overlooking the incredible botanical pharmacy that nature has already set up for us. So today, we're cracking open the vault of Vietnamese traditional medicine. We're looking at a plant you've almost certainly seen and probably eaten, but I promise you never truly understood. So get comfortable. We're about to see a very familiar plant in a completely new light.
I mean, think about it. What if the absolute best cure for stubborn skin allergies and sores was literally growing right in your backyard? So many of us deal with these relentless, super frustrating skin irritations, rashes, hives, those mysterious sores that just refuse to heal. And we spend a fortune on synthetic creams, totally unaware that a potent, natural remedy has just been hiding in plain sight for centuries. Imagine just walking out your back door and plucking your medicine straight from a branch. Sounds a bit like folklore, right? But as you'll see in this explainer, it is a highly documented, scientifically fascinating reality. Okay, let's dive right in. So this is the familiar starfruit. Over in Vietnam, it's traditionally known as he. It's a gorgeous, everyday tropical plant. You've probably walked right past it at the grocery store, or maybe it even grows in your neighborhood. We usually just think of it as this bright, tart, refreshing snack for a hot summer day. But actually, this everyday fruit tree holds a massive medical secret. We need to shift our perspective here, stop seeing this as just a piece of produce, and start looking at it as a complex biological medicine cabinet. Now, we're not just pulling these claims out of thin air. If we look at page 102 of Professor Tat Loi's foundational heritage text on Vietnamese medicinal plants, the extraordinary properties of the starfruit tree are meticulously documented. This book is honestly an absolute masterpiece of botanical medicine. On this exact page, the identification and the medicinal uses are laid out so clearly. It creates this perfect bridge between the living plant and generations of recorded clinical folk experience. And that is exactly our roadmap for today. Let's talk science and taxonomy for a second. Scientifically, this guy's called Averrhoa Carambola, and it belongs to the wood sorrel family. But here is the really cool part. Its traditional name is Nul Gem. It's such a poetic name because it perfectly describes the way the fruit's 5 distinctive ribs converge and just kind of draw together at the edges. It really goes to show how those early botanists and healers paid incredibly close attention to the physical traits of these plants. They literally encoded their observations right into the names. But before we get to the actual cure, we need to make sure we know exactly what we're looking for. The heritage text gives us this beautiful botanical profile. We're talking about a majestic woody tree growing anywhere from 4 to 6 meters tall. It's covered in these soft ovate compound leaves, and when it blooms, it absolutely bursts with these gorgeous pinkish-purple flower clusters. And of course, there's the iconic fleshy berry with its 5 distinct ribs. But here's the real secret. While everyone knows the fruit, it's actually the leaves and the branches that hold the key to its most potent healing power. This is probably the most profound revelation on page 102. It documents the folk experience of using the plant's branches and leaves, explicitly highlighting them as a treatment for severe skin ailments. We're talking sores, serious allergic reactions, and even skin ulcers. It's wild because we're so conditioned to think we need complex chemicals cooked up in a lab to treat stubborn dermatological issues like that. Yet, this traditional wisdom points us straight to the foliage of the starfruit tree. So how exactly did they do it? Well, the traditional prescription is incredibly precise. You don't just toss some leaves in a tub and hope for the best. It's a very specific extraction process. Step 1, you gather about 100 to 150 grams of the leaves in those young branches or flowers. Step 2, boil them for a solid 15 minutes in about 5 to 6 liters of water. That heat is what releases the active botanical compounds. Step 3, you use that medicinal water to steam the affected area, and then you actually bathe in it while it's still warm to open up your pores. And finally, step 4, you take those softened, boiled leaves and gently rub them directly right onto the sores or rashes. It's a totally holistic topical treatment. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. How effective could rubbing some boiled leaves on your skin actually be? Well, according to the documented folk experience in Professor Loi's text, patients who follow this exact method typically see complete healing in just 3 to 4 days. 3 days! Think about that. A severe bout of contact dermatitis or a stubborn ulcer can last for weeks, even with modern treatments. This incredibly fast recovery time just proves how powerful the natural anti-inflammatory and healing compounds locked inside these leaves truly are. But, the healing doesn't just stop with the leaves. Let's talk about the fruit itself. That iconic 5-pointed star shape, which has this really complex flavor profile. It can be sweet, sour, and a little bit astringent.
is actually a treasure trove of holistic health benefits for the inside of your body. The heritage text outlines quite a few ways this fruit has been used to keep our internal systems running smoothly.
Let's break down those internal benefits. Traditional medicine uses the star fruit to treat fevers because it has these amazing natural cooling properties. When your body is overheating, the fruit steps in to generate vital bodily fluids and deeply quench that thirst. Historically, they even used it to cure scurvy. Why? Because just as the text notes, it is absolutely packed with essential nutrients. We're talking natural sugars, vitamin B1, vitamin C2, the whole shebang. So it's not just the tasty snack, it's a hydrating, vitamin-rich powerhouse that healers relied on to restore balance in the body.
Now, I absolutely love this next detail. It's such a great example of how practical this traditional knowledge really is. The text points out a highly surprising household use. If you ever get a rust stain on your clothes, you don't need to reach for harsh chemical cleaners. The juice of the star fruit will cleanly lift iron rust right out of the fabric. This happens because of a compound in the fruit called potassium oxalate. It's just so fascinating to see a natural biological compound act as such a targeted cleaner. It really shows how intimately our ancestors understood the chemistry of the natural world.
So to wrap things up, we've seen how a single incredibly common tree can provide rapid relief for skin allergies, cool the body, supply vital vitamins, and yeah, even clean our clothes. This right here is exactly why preserving these heritage texts is so absolutely crucial. They're basically the user manuals for the natural world. So I'd love to invite you to join us in honoring this ancient wisdom. Please subscribe to the channel to help us continue to digitize and preserve this extraordinary source of life for generations to come. And I'll leave you with this to ponder. The next time you walk through your neighborhood, take a look at the plants you usually just walk right past and ask yourself, what other miraculous cures are quietly growing right beneath our feet? Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer today, and I'll catch you in the next one.